Hi guys, hope everyone's having a wonderful day. Just got back from doing some manual labor out there. Okay, feel a little creaky, no big deal. We're gonna get right into the video. Today we're gonna talk about a classic. It is the Intel. This console came out in 1979 and it ran to 1984. Intellivision had a huge market share at this point, around 20%, and it was produced by the Mattel company, and everyone knows Mattel, huge toy maker, huge electronics. And if you notice the Intellivision design, all of these little handheld Mattel things that were coming out on the time all kind of had that similar font and look to it. Like, I don't know if it like Blip was Mattel in the car one, but they did make a ton of these little handhelds as well, and I do remember all those fondly. It was a neat looking machine, very 70s looking when it came out. As you can see, just lots of browns, a little game circle with the numbers on it. Kind of remind you of a telephone with the cord and stuff. If you went into any house in the 70s and early 80s, half the furniture and half the stuff in it looked like this. So it really does date itself looks-wise. The Atari and the Gemini looked a little bit newer because they were mostly black with a little bit of wood on some of them. Some of them had more wood. Overall, a classic system. Not hugely collectible in my opinion. Maybe that's just me. There is still a good market for these games, and especially if you can find the right ones, guys. And we are going to jump right into that. First up, we have Body Slam. This needs no introduction. As you can see, classic wrestling game here. 128 on the top and 214 with the box on the bottom. So you'll be in between that for whatever you pick up. Really neat title. We won't dive into this too much. A lot of these games are just going to be kind of bland compared to today's games. This is definitely a bolo on this list, guys, and it's Checkers. As you can see, really cool cover, 70s, early 80s vibe on this with the cartoony graphics and stuff. So the bottom one went for 286, it was complete, and then the bottom one 257 complete. So you're going to land in between those two prices. This is a neat looking game. I don't think it would be very good, but I mean, hey, if you want to play checkers and you don't got a checkerboard, this is a game for you. Next up is one of those titles that you've probably heard the name of before, and it's Dig Dug. So the bottom one card only 57. Top one went for 141, box game and manual, so pretty complete. I don't know if there's a reg card or something in with it, but 141 is pretty good for that. 57 for an Intellivision card is also pretty good. Most of them don't get up that high. A lot of shovelware was made for these early consoles, and a lot of them are just not that desirable. Next up is Fathom. As you can see in the bottom, 321. This is pretty complete in my opinion. It says it's an ultra rare game. Could be, could not be. The middle one, 105, and then 71. So to me, the price on the card tells me that this is a pretty rare, expensive game. They got one bid at 71. They probably could have got a little bit more, maybe. Hard to tell what the game is about, honestly. That 70s vibe to it. Keep an eye out for Fathom. Next up is one of my favorite franchises. It's Ghostbusters. They made some cool toys for these in the 80s. They also made a lot of awesome movies and stuff. Then there was a big fight over the name. There was the real Ghostbusters, and then there was just the Ghostbusters. If you remember the normal Ghostbusters, remember the real Ghostbusters was the movie Ghostbusters you're familiar with, and then the Ghostbusters was like this weird thing with an ape and the car that had the friggin' slapper thing on it like a fly swatter, and it was out there. It wasn't a horrible cartoon, but it wasn't great. Anyways, one bid on the bottom one, looks pretty complete, 214, 157 in the middle, and 178 brand new as well. So really, the people that bought it brand new got a better deal in my opinion, because that'd be pretty sweet to pick this up even at that price, new in box, 150, 180. That's really sweet. And as usual, it's time for a Momo Break. Right. Next up, we have a homebrew game. And if you see my other Bolo list, you know what the homebrew games are all about, so I won't dive into it too much. They're just fan-made games. They are rare, and they do command a lot of money on the market. So this one is Wizard of War. As you can see, 157 complete. And then 178 brand new in the box. Really neat cover art on the top. Shows you the gameplay and the graphics with it. And then CBS Electronics on the little band on the bottom. Really interesting front cover. This would be awesome to add to your collection. Next up is also a homebrew title. It's called Intellivision, obviously like Castlevania. Neat looking cover. I don't know if they just ripped off Castlevania and, coded it to this to make the homebrew game, guys. Seems pretty rare. Quite expensive. 92 on the top, 154 in the middle, and then 572 on the bottom. I don't really know why the bottom one sold for so much more than the other two. I'm not super familiar with the homebrew games. Like I said, I'm more of a vintage guy, but really, if you are collecting, It's a way to grab this stuff that you may not be able to find out in the wild or even in general, honestly, because some of the stuff is really rare. I'm going to take the seller's word on this. It says very rare. It's Jungle Hunt. As you can see, this one went for $2,860. So I'm assuming they are right. It says new other, so it must be pretty mint in the box here. I don't know too much about it. I don't know if it's something you would actually run across, but really you don't know, because I'll be perfectly honest with you. When you're out at old flea markets and yard sales and stuff, you do run across boxes of these old games like this, Atari, ColecoVision and stuff, where they all kind of look plain Jane. They look crappy, you know, there's nothing that stands out. And I'm going to definitely do this myself. Now I'm going to really pay attention to this when I'm out, because I'm sure I've probably overlooked some of this stuff. Probably not this, but you just never know, right? Next up is LTO Flash. This looks really interesting. The cover art to me looks like that Tron type stuff from the 80s. I'm not too sure the premise of it, but brand new on the bottom, we've got 715, new other, two bids for 514, and then 548 on the top. So a very expensive cart, guys. If you do come across this, it's an awesome pickup. I really do like when the art style dates itself like this. It really adds to the collecting value of it. Next up, we have Melody Blaster 1 and 2, guys. So the bottom one is Melody Blaster, the first one, and went for 429. Looks complete in the box here. Number 2 is 92 brand new, and 92 brand new might be the same one that sold twice. So the first one is obviously the big money one, and the second one is okay. It's so-so. Just keep an eye out for Melody Blaster. It looks like a keyboard type game. Next up, we have Masters of the Universe. Keeping with the classic design, they made this look exactly like the cartoon on the cover. They didn't get too wild with it. The game that if I found would definitely go right into my collection. I wouldn't think about selling it. Doesn't seem like it's too expensive of a title. The two little plastic pieces are $16, 128 pre-owned and 71 pre-owned. They both seem to be pretty complete in the box, not too roachy, just average use condition. Definitely an awesome one. I would definitely keep this, guys. This is Magic Carousel. As you can see, I don't know if this was like might be a Jungle Safari type game or something. 214 brand new and 63 brand new. I don't know why the discrepancy in the prices here, guys. Some of it's very subjective. And eBay is the Wild West. Sometimes you don't know. Sometimes you get a ton for something. Sometimes you won't. It is what it is. Just make sure you're going through a ton of listings and not just two, you know, just to make sure you're getting your pricing right. Next up, we have Stadium Mud Buggies. This is definitely a bolo. The cartridge is very expensive. As you can see in the bottom, it's $203. The reprint on the top is $100. So that gives you an idea that this is a very sought after game, and it is very expensive. So if you find it complete in the box, it would be very expensive. I'm going to say probably like $400 or $500 at a minimum. So keep an eye out for Stadium Mud Buggies. Next up is Super Pro Decathlon. Now, back in the 70s and 80s and even into the Wii, a ton of these type games, whether it's Olympics, decathlon, any sport that's like this, they made tons of them. This one is a bolo, however, it's very expensive for this system. As you can see, one bid on the bottom for 178, good condition, 236, one bid complete, and then the cart only $68. You know, anytime you see a cart like over $50 on systems like this, in my opinion, it's a bolo. It's pretty pricey for the system, because most of the carts you will run across are probably only worth $5 to $10, guys, and it's just the way it is with these older systems. Next up, we have Time Pilot. This was the only example I found on eBay for this one. $679 complete. Box looks a little rough. Really neat looking cover. Again, I don't want to repeat myself, but like the 70s and 80s colors were really cool. Like the yellow to orange to red. They put this on everything, and I don't know, it really reminds me of my childhood and growing up. The cars had it on them, and yeah, every like thing had this on it. Really expensive cart. It sounds like a neat premise, honestly. I'm sure the game's not too great. None of them really were, in my opinion, but keep an eye out for this one. Next up is Tutankhamun. As you can see in the bottom, 277 in the box complete, and then the top 429 brand new. Expensive game in this console, and the cart would go for. I didn't see any loose, guys. But again, I would think it's probably that $80 to $100 cart if complete in boxes, 277. The box looks like it's a pretty good example. Just keep an eye out on this. You never know. Next up is a classic, and it's Zaxxon. Again, not a hugely expensive game. I just thought I would add this in for fun. As you can see, the card only, $18 to $20, 106 complete, and then 57 complete. Some of these games you can pick up, especially the classics like this, for a good price. You don't have to pay a ton for them. If you're a box collector like I am, this is what it's going to cost you when you're buying stuff in the box. It's always more, but to me, the carts just don't display that well. if I'm buying these games, I want them in the box. I'm doing it all that with the Genesis. I'm going to try doing it with like Nintendo games and stuff. Even if I have to get some repros, I don't mind. It doesn't really bother that much. But keep an eye out for Zaxxon. But yeah, guys, neat system. Like a lot of this stuff back in the day, very dated looking. The games are dated looking. You know, they're all just little square pixels. There's nothing too groundbreaking about them. At the time, they seemed really cool. And I remember playing stuff on our Gemini, you know, Yar's Revenge and Berserk and stuff, and thinking, hey, this is so awesome and that. And it's like anything. When stuff is cutting edge at the time, it seems really awesome. And then, you know, 30, 40 years later, even 50 years, you probably look back and stuff and be like, yeah, whatever. I don't think buying these is too expensive still. You can probably pick up a console for under $100. In the box, it's going to be like anything else in that from that time range. You're probably going to be $300, you know, give or take, guys. It'd be something to add to your collection if you're maybe a bit older. To me, I'm not super interested in it. If I do run across one, I definitely will pick it up. But stuff in the late 70s and 80s is not super appealing to me. I do like the Gemini just because I had one, but I'm not going to go out of my way to collect it, guys. But if you do, more power to you. You can still get some awesome deals on this stuff. You just got to be persistent with it. And on that note, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go have some lunch. We've had a long morning. I'm just winding down here for a few minutes, and I'm going to take care of some work stuff as well. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want to see any other bolo lists that I may not have thought about, please like, comment, and subscribe below. Let me know. I'll definitely do them for you guys. I do like doing them. They are kind of fun, actually. It brings me back to my childhood. Hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Have an awesome day. Peace.